Hello, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. And today I'm bringing you my top 5 favorite duologies. Some of them will be really well known to you, the one that's on everybody's list. Don't worry, it's here, as well as some that I hope you haven't heard of before that could be really fun for you to try out. Because sometimes we don't just want to read a single book, but we don't want to read, 8 books in a series either. And so sometimes 2 is twice as nice, right? Okay, so let's go. And of course, like I said, this duology that's on everyone's list, I'm gonna get it out of the way. And that is the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. You knew it, I knew it, let's just get it here. This is a book set that takes place in the Grishaverse. It is about Kaz Brekker and his group of thieves, grifters, and Grisha who are trying to commit a heist, and then some things go wrong in the heist and they are in some trouble, and we're introduced to some amazing characters, some that will cross us over from the Shadow and Bone trilogy. This series is going to be part of the TV show. Y'all on BookTube probably know that. I love this series. I gave them, I think, 4 and 5 stars. I thought the first one was very slow moving and it took me a while to care about some of the characters. But then once I did, I was full on invested and I had a great time. So here it was. That one's out of the way now. Now you might not know what I'll bring up next. And in fact, I'm going to bring up a romance duology. This is by Julia Quinn. And these books, this is called the Mr. Cavendish, I presume, and the Lost Duke of Windham. So this is a romance duology where this one man has been raised his whole life to believe that he is the Duke of Windham, and he is going to marry this woman named Amelia. He has been promised to her for most of her life, and the time has come for them to marry. Well, some unexpected news comes up that he isn't actually the firstborn son, and it's actually the Lost Duke of Windham. And so these 2 stories, it's really cool. They're literally told at the same time, and these 2 couples are kind of dealing with this information. And one man who thought he was a lord his whole life realizes that he's not. And the other one who's been living his life as basically like a pirate and like a highwayman is actually a duke. And it's about, should the Duke of Windham, who is now the Duke of Windham, should he still have to marry the person that he, this girl was promised to marry the Duke of Windham and now he's not. So does she have to marry the new one, or can she still marry the man that she's thought she was going to marry all this time? So drama, really fun. This was one of the first books that I read by Julia Quinn, and it's really cute. She usually doesn't do duologies. They're usually like trilogies or more, but I had a really fun time reading these, and it was cool because you can read either one first because the majority of them crosses over with each other. I read this one first, and it took me a while to find this one, but when I reread them the other way first, and it's the same story happening at the same time. So next up, we have The Daughter of the Pirate King duology by Tricia Levenseller. I love this duology. I read it last year. It is about Alosa, who is the daughter of Pirate King and the daughter of a Siren Queen. And she has the ability she has Siren's powers, but still the morality of a human. So, slight morality because she's still the daughter of a pirate king, but she runs her own ship. It's a ship full of women, and they are on their search for the 3 parts of a map that will lead them to this secret treasure where, everybody wants it. And her father is a pirate king, and he has an island that's a little bit like that island in Pirates of the Caribbean. And his daughter Alosa, she can suck water into herself and then use her powers where she can make men do whatever she wants to. And she ends up, in the first book, she's infiltrating a ship. And they have captured her, but really it's like she let them capture her because they have one piece of this map. And it's 2 brothers who kind of run the ship. One is a captain and the next is his first mate. And one of the brothers, he has a relationship kind of start with Alosa, and she just thinks she's using him and he thinks he's using her, and really it's mutual things happening. So this duology was super fun. It is a very quick read, guys. It's not very long. They're only like 300 pages flat. and it goes by super quick. I loved the romance in this. I loved the danger. There are some high stakes in here. I love the pirating. I love the powers. I love the sirens. They're pretty mean sirens for the most part. They have their reasons, and so I like that. So this was a great series, or duology. It was fun. Next, this may not stay a duology, but for now it is, and it could be many years before there's another one. And so I have Vicious and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, which I think is another one that's on a lot of people's list. She said there may be another book, but I think it was like 5 years between the two of these. So for now it's a duology, and we're going with it. So this is set in a world where these people called extraordinaries, who are basically they have superpowers, and Victor and Eli, when they're in college, they decide they want to figure out how to make them, and they're doing it for Eli's thesis paper, but Eli is able to get his powers, and he's a little like Superman, and then Victor, his roommate, is jealous that Eli did it and wouldn't let him do it, and so he does it behind Eli's back, and then he's a little like an Eric to me from the X-Men, except his power is he can stop your heart. Yeah, Victor can control you, basically. It's weird. So he's a little like Eric in like his mindset and things like that. So anyway, I love this duology. Vicious was fabulous. It's told in a really interesting style, but we also have a really cool henchman who I love, and we have a little girl who can bring people back from the dead, which is creepy. Like the first line of this book, I had it in my first line challenge, and I loved it because it's Victor adjusted the shovels on his shoulder and stepped gingerly over an old half-sunken grave. Like it starts with them digging up a body. Like it's amazing. So this is duology I loved. Some people don't like the second one, but I loved it. I had a great time. Yeah, you should definitely check out this duology. It's great. And then finally, this is a duology. It's called Dark Breaks the Dawn and Bright Burns the Night. And this is a retelling of Swan Princess, or like Swan Lake kind of. And it is about this girl named Evelyn, and all the monarchs of this country have the power to turn into a swan. And they're at war with this other country who wants to take the power for themselves. And so, yeah, it's amazing. It's really hard to explain, and I can't get into a lot of it without spoilers, but it's good. It has a hate to lovers trope in it. It has a betrayal of a lover in it. It's just so good. But anyway, she can turn into a swan and then has powers. And at some point in the novel, she gets trapped in the swan body, because that's how that story works. And yeah, it's amazing. I really didn't explain this duology too well. It's been a little while since I've read it, but I did love it, which I know, not the best for a booktuber, but it was really fun. This is by Sarah B. Larson, who also did the Defy trilogy, which I loved. And she has an adult series that she's working on next, which I'm super pumped about. So anyway, those were 5 duologies that I loved, and I hope you'll check them out if you're not quite looking for a full series, but would like to, you know, try a smaller amount of books in a series together, which is what a duology is. Anyway, that's enough. I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you can watch some more of them right now. Bye!